in kirtan and so on. And then they left for the UK, which is another place where there's quite a few devotees. And, and that's when the devotees met the Beatles, George Harrison, and all that stuff. So that's it, a little bit of history. That's what we're working on. And I also finished writing a book. I don't know if I showed this to you last time, but on poems. And can you see it okay?
Yes, Maharaj, but can you move it to your left a little bit?
To my left, this way?
Yes, correct.
Right. And it's got over 50 poems, and they're about under the topics of leadership, heroes like avatars, Ram, Krishna, Bhishma, Hanuman, Madhavendra Puri, even Sally Agarwal is on my list of heroes. Then social issues, stories about wisdom from the Gita, prayer, family, things like Save the Earth, Travels of Jiva, 24 Gurus, the monk. It's nice. I'm very happy with how it came out. So if you want it, you can get it on Amazon. Get it on Amazon today if you're interested. Otherwise, when I come to your neighborhood, I'll have a stash and we'll sell them all. All right. So anyways, let's get on with the show. We're going to just do our pranam mantras to Prabhupada, then the Panchatattva mantra, and then the Hare Krishna mantra. All right? So it'll go like this. Everyone together as best as we can. Nama Om Vishnuvadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyachari Shatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you very much. And now we'll turn to page 1 of the introduction of Bhagavad Gita as it is. And you can just follow after me. That is page 1 in the introduction again. Om Ajnana Timarandasya.
Om Ajnana Timarandasya.
Jnananjana Shalakaya.
Jnananjana Shalakaya.
Chakshurunmilitam Yena.
Chakshurunmilitam Yena.
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
I was born in the darkest ignorance.
I was born in the darkest ignorance.
And my spiritual master opened my eyes.
And my spiritual master opened my eyes.
With the torch of knowledge.
With the torch of knowledge.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Good. So now we look to our host, which is Vaishnavi Devi Das, who's done an excellent job these last 4 years. I think I've got the number right.
Yes,
for leading us to the verse that we need to look at. What is that verse we're on? Which chapter?
18.11, Maharaj.
Can you imagine? At 18.
Wow.
Chapter 18. We've been at it this long, starting during the pandemic. Okay. So I'm going to read the verse of the Sanskrit transliteration. And then the English, and then we'll get maybe 2 people to read the purport, and slow. So here we go. Nahi deha prita shakyam tyaktum karmanya shishataha yastu karma vala tyagi satyagitya vidkiyate. Translation. It is indeed impossible for an embodied being to give up all activities. But he who renounces the fruits of action is called one who has truly renounced. Okay, good. So now let's get two people can volunteer on reading the purport.
Okay, Naman and Ritam, you can go.
Okay,
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
just speak nice and loud and clear and slow if you don't mind.
Am I audible? Yeah. Am I audible, Mataji?
Yes.
Yes.
It is said in the Bhagavad Gita
Can you
that
speak a
one
little
can.
louder, Prabhu?
Okay, Maharaj. It is said in the Bhagavad Gita that one can never give up work at any time. Therefore, he who works for Krishna and does not enjoy the fruitive results, who offers everything to Krishna, is actually a renouncer. There are many members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness who work very hard in their office or in the factory or some other place, and whatever they earn, they give to the society.
Thank you very much. And we've got 2 sentences for the next devotee. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Such highly elevated souls are actually sannyasis and are situated in the renounced order of life. It is clearly outlined here how to renounce the fruits of work and for what purpose fruits should be renounced.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for that good reading there, Prabhu. And this chapter is entitled The Perfection of Renunciation. So we're trying to get to the heart of the matter here. Why renunciation? Why at the end? We're at the last chapter. Well, because that's where we need to be. We're coming to conclusions here after Krishna has delivered so many messages about the different forms of yoga. Now we're getting to the final stage. Let's get renounced. Let's act in the mode of goodness. And let us come to the point where we are at peace with ourselves, at peace with the world, and we don't get so hyped up and passionate about the ways of the world. Like some people can easily get caught into the whole like elections. For instance, that might be happening in the UK, and later on it'll be in the US, and it's going to happen in Canada as well. They get really wrapped up in it to the point where you dream about these people at night and you don't dream about Krishna. So there's some problems here, right? And so to renounce means to get down to the brass tacks, and that is to surrender to the Lord. Some of the key verses that express true renunciation are like 1865 and 1866. I still remember when I was a new devotee and in the basement of 187 Gerrard Street, and my godbrother, Hiranyagarbha, saying that 1866 is the final conclusion of the Gita, where you renounce all other obligations, such as identifying with your varna or your ashrama. That means your career or your ethnicity or even your gender. And just kind of put these things to the side and come to the point of our essential truth, which is that we are servants of the Lord. We are an anti-material particle. We're servants of the Lord. So at the final stages of our life, which is going to be probably could be the easiest time to renounce, when you don't have the oomph, but use that term, the oomph of the passions and the hormonal explosions of youthhood, then it's easier to renounce and let things go. Let's look forward then to aging and the process of maturing, because that doesn't get highlighted for a lot of people. We only hear about when people get old, they get sick and they have to go multiple visits to the doctor, to the hospital. We only hear about that kind of stuff. But, more mentally, we should be in a much better position to, let's say, not have all these hang-ups and hankerings and attachments to this world. So it's a thing to look forward to, honestly, is when we age. Some people don't have the good fortune to have a good full life. Some people are meant to go a little earlier because of maybe a chronic disease, or it could be an accident. So I think we should always be prepared. Think like an old man or an old woman. And kind of like, there's a phrase, die before dying. Have you ever heard that before? Die before dying.
Yes, Maharaj,
means-
from His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami, correct?
I'm not sure where it came from, but I have a good friend, a Russian friend, Rami Blek. He used that concept quite a bit. Die before dying. So in other words, get yourself ready, act as if, or give the mentality that I'm going to die in 1 minute from now. Be ready. That means there has to be a certain mindset. And that mindset is to renounce the world. Don't be attached. Everything can go. I remember walking through the US in that tornado area. We were in Nebraska, and we were a little bit silly, me and my two brahmachari assistants. We were there in May, and we were telling some of our local people there, whom we made friends with, hey, we heard you have tornadoes here. Can't wait to see one, and especially to get a little bit close. And then they were saying, oh, you don't want to get close to a tornado, But I mentioned the point about tornado because we are all, let's say, you can lose your house. The classic images of Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. She was near Kansas City. Does anybody know the Wizard of Oz? Okay, well, if you don't,
Yes, Maharaj.
look it
Follow
online.
the yellow brick.
Yes, follow the yellow brick road. You
Yes.
got it. So, Dorothy was in the house, and the tornado came, and a window kind of snapped off and knocked her out, and she became unconscious. And the house flew up in the air. It's like an iconic image for those of us, the early bird television watchers. Sorry. Yeah. So, anyways, you have to renounce your house. You have to renounce your clothes, your bank balance, your food. I've got persimmons and mangoes here. I have to renounce them. And by the way, they're not mine. I already had my share. I have to renounce my health. I have to renounce if I even have good looks. I have to renounce practically everything. My health. So get ready now. Be prepared for the moment where the tornado may come. So tornado, flood, earthquake, you slide into the earth, or lava coming out of a volcano and pushing its way through the door and burning your house to pieces. It doesn't matter. Anything can come. So let's get ready and do it now. But, I just want to make reference to the fact that Krishna was there with Arjuna, and he was getting him ready for the war, which was about to happen any second. And he was trying to tell him, be prepared for any dynamic, anything. And just think of me. Manmana Bhavamat Bhakto. So think of Krishna now, not later. Prahlad Maharaj also was convincing his friends who were saying, we don't need to do this Dharma now. That's for old people. And then Prahlad Maharaj, more, I would say more symbolically, jumped on his friends, his classmates. No, you have to do it now, renounce now, because you never know when you're going to pass away. And whatever you're thinking of at the time of death, that you will become in the next life. Hare Krishna. So I think we can open it up for some kind of thought, some kind of discussion right now, and deliberation, or if there's something that really stuck out that you like, let's please open up right now, okay? And Vaishnavi is our director in this regard, and so please go to it if you have any thoughts, deliberations, all right? Hare Krishna.
Hare
Okay, any comments or questions? No?
How to prepare our mind for renunciation?
Well, by imagining that you're going to die the next second. Like, when you count 1 second, 2 seconds, let's say 10 seconds from now, before I finish my sentence, you're going to die. What are you going to do? Think of Krishna? Is that
Yes.
not a bad idea?
Yes, think of Krishna.
Look at his picture, chant his name, which is the kind of thing we should be doing. I mean, you can't carry a picture everywhere, all over the place. We can definitely, however, let's say, think of him and immediately grab for the holy name. That's how you prepare it.
Thank
Jump.
you.
Jump for the opportunity. ASAP.
Thank
Good.
you, Maharaj.
But it's a good question, right? We should always be asking these questions, How can I prepare? Well, die now before dying. All right. Any other thoughts for Moose?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to the assembled devotees. Maharaj, can you answer like how, for example, Srila Prabhupada was a radically different sannyasi, not, I think also his lineage above him, and yourself, Maharaj. I mean, you're so amazing. And compared to how the concept of renunciation of the renounced monks was in India before. Can you elaborate, Maharaj?
Did you elaborate on what it means to be like a sannyasi? Is that what you're saying?
Like how before the sannyasis in India, it was different. Like they would not cross the 7 seas. And
well, yeah, there were some, I think that message, they won't cross the sea because across the border, there's the land of the Malechas, like low-class people. And you don't want to get their association. You don't want to be in bad company. But Prabhupada transcended that notion because his guru asked him, go to the English-speaking countries because there are some very intelligent people there, right? Like India cannot make the claim that only intelligent people are in India. There's intelligentsia everywhere, all over the world, and it doesn't matter. Even if people are living a simple Aboriginal kind of lifestyle, it doesn't matter. There's a different kind of intelligence that these people live through, So that is one act of renunciation. Prabhupada kind of broke the ice and he decided, I'm not going to just stay in India. And he had a nice cozy situation at the Radha Damodar temple. But he remembered that the way to make advancement in life is you follow what the Guru has in mind. And what Bhaktisiddhanta, Prabhupada's Guru, had in mind was that let's save people. Let's save the conditioned souls. Let's bring them to a state of happiness and renunciation. Let's have a heart. Don't just think about yourself, but think rather about what other people need, and not just your consciousness. In fact, I would say this: the benefit of trying to save others is that you save yourself in the process. But does that all help a little bit?
Yes, Maharaj, very much. Thank you so much. But also you, Maharaj, I mean, you're so active and you attract so many people just from your lifestyle, and that's very amazing to me, Maharaj.
Well, it's interesting. Like wherever I walk, people, doesn't matter which country or whether it's an airport or on the street, people are somehow or other attracted to the color, the shaven head, the tilak, and they have a sort of reverence for people like us dressed like this. And I would say people they're not that stupid. They can actually pick up on whether you're genuine or not. And whether I'm genuine or not, well, that's another. I'm just a demon trying to be a devotee. So that's where I'm coming from. And I get very inspired by people for being a person of the cloth, as they say. A man of the cloth is a man like a priest or like a Brahmin or a sannyasi. And I can't think of living any other way. And I believe that in my previous life, I had done everything pretty much, and I didn't need to have to go through the rigors of family life. I didn't need to do that. So that's just my quick personal story. Thank you. Is that okay for an answer?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I will say something a little bit more Sadamini, and then you can speak. I mean, when I was a teenager, everyone encourages you to find a partner, and sometimes multiple. Even when we were young, they said, "Well, okay, let me see if anything happens," but nothing happened, and I just didn't get excited. I said, "This is not what I'm here for. I'm here for something else." I couldn't figure it out at the time, but when I met devotees, I say, "Here it is. This is the answer." And I'm also the first one to say, get married, get settled down. You're young, you're beautiful, you're intelligent. Get down, go through the regular process of, getting settled down and anchoring up, and learn the ways of the world, but keep Krishna in the center. When I go to weddings, people ask me to give a little talk, and they say, "Oh, you two lovely people are getting married. Have lots of babies. Have lots of babies. Have lots of children, because they're going to be good human beings, and we need good human beings." So, for myself, no, I didn't have to go that route. Yeah. So, Sandamini, would you care to say something?
Sure, Maharaj. Thank you so much, Maharaj. One thing is, like, the devotee, when you came here to New Jersey, it was such a wonderful satsang, and a couple of
Dominic, I'm
yes.
going to show how I'm not renounced. I'm going to eat a rye bread sandwich. Go ahead.
Go ahead, please. So a couple of the devotees were like really touched by your compassionate, and you're so like really how do I say, we're able to connect with them. So a couple of them, after you left, Maharaj, they came and they had shared some of their and they said, when is Maharaj going to come again to New Jersey? So I said, I will ask Maharaj and say, but definitely Maharaj, please come because you inspire all of us and you keep us like in the mood of compassion and in satsang.
Let's go to Gopala at the time of Krishna. Prabhupada said, all my sadhus.
Don't listen to him. Anyways, what I can do, I can invite you all to the Rathi Yatra. I could come to you, but you have to come to me too.
Yes,
Yes.
Maharaj, definitely Maharaj. We would love to come to you. Yes.
Even the boys from the Netherlands, they can also come. There's airplanes, there's boats, there's rafts, there's different ways to go up down the St. Lawrence and then into Lake Ontario, and you can just leave the boat at the shore and just come up Avenue Road, up to my door, and Prabhupada's quarters says, I made it.
Prabhupada is Sudama. He's, they are Goalas, cowherd boys. Prabhupada are question of cowherd boys.
They might be having a hard time to hear.
Is it true?
Anything else? No, for you.
Yes.
Then I think what we should do, let's go to the next text, which is 12. Someone volunteer to read the Sanskrit, another one the English, and then a third person can read the purport. Okay?
Okay,
Vaishnavi.
Danraj, Arjuna, and Manasi Ganga, please.
So it's
Nice.
1812, right, Vaishnavi? Yeah, okay.
1812, yeah.
Anishtam istam mishram cha trividam karmana phalam bhavati atyaginam pretya natu sanyasanam kvachit.
Thank you. Good.
Translation: for those who is not renounced the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrued after death, but those who are in the renounced order of life have no such result to suffer or enjoy.
Okay.
A person in Krishna consciousness acting in knowledge of his relationship with Krishna is always liberated. Therefore, he does not have to enjoy or suffer the results of his acts after death. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Any comments on this, Prabhus? Any comments at all?
I'll say, Maharaj, I'll say like a Krishna conscious person does not care whether he goes to heavenly planets or hell, as long as he remembers Krishna. Because at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want to remember Krishna. So that's what the real important is. It's not what you get here or what you don't get. It's that you remember Krishna at all times. Because since the world is a temporary, miserable place, why do you want to come back here? It's like like Prabhupada says, it's a fool's paradise. So coming back here is like, it's a waste of time. There's no happiness. You know, you have to go through all the struggles, all the people that like sometimes don't like you just because it's you. You know, it's a crazy world. And as we progress, it gets even worse. So why do you want to come back here? Why not just be with the devotees and Krishna and be happy? But at the same time, try to help as many people as you can. So that's what I think.
Good. That's a nice contribution you made. And basically, in the end, there is no death. We transcend that. When you're a truly renounced person, you don't go through samsara anymore. And I think most of us will agree that this repetition of birth and death is something that is very uh, uneasy for all of us. It's something that's not natural to always have hiccups in life, to always be, you're enjoying something and then it's interrupted, that kind of thing. And that's what we mean by death. Death interrupts living. And we are meant to live permanently. So when it gets cut off, it's the ultimate cruelty, isn't it? So because we are living in this world of samsara, the best thing we can do is make our consciousness clear and clean. And then we are guaranteed not to have to go through this again. So ultimate renunciation means to renounce the world and have a fixation on Krishna. That's the point. Real liberation means a fixation on Krishna. All right.
I'll say something, so I'll finish it so you can eat. So like the problem is like most people they think we're the body, so they think this is it. So because they think this is it, they try to enjoy as much as possible without really thinking about all the bad karma that they're creating. So therefore making the plants, the planet, the water, the people, family, friends, whoever suffer because they want to enjoy. But the problem is they're not really enjoying. They're just creating more problems. And
Yeah,
this
the
is
problem
Mhm.
does begin with the misinformation, the wrong identity crisis. People live the big lie, not understanding they're not the body, they're not the machine. They might be the engine of the machine, and that's it. Thank you, Arjun. We like to hear from
Thank you, Guru
everyone.
Maharaj.
Everyone say a little something about their realization on this really important chapter. I think Dhanraj has something always on his mind.
Well, it's quite difficult to have, to be renounced, because there are so many compulsions in the world that we all have, materially, spiritually, so I think it's very difficult. I think it takes a lot of practice, austerity, and definitely, having a Maharaj like yourself, having a guru, is very important, and a disciplined spiritual practice is essential, because otherwise I think it's just very difficult to do this. Because even Arjun said the same thing, that I can control my mind, I can control the arrows, I can control the wind, but I can't control my mind. So I think it's a challenge for all of us, but I think we're on the path. At least a good thing is we're on the path.
You're right. And that's always encouraging, that we're going somewhere. We may not be able to reject things on the spot right at this moment, but you get onto a path that's safe, where it's clear where you have to walk, where you have to tread. And that comes about by being in good company, being good association, identifying yourself with your friend, the book that's in your hand, Prabhupada's directives that are there in the purports. You've got all of that, then you've got everything you need. But what really helps out is a little bit of a personal touch. It's good to have someone who's living during your time and who can understand you a little bit more than maybe what a book will offer. The details come from a guru, or the detail comes from an experienced person, experienced in spiritual life. Good, thank you. And anybody else has something to share?
Maharaj, I have something to share, but I want to give other devotees a chance. I don't want to just hog up the microphone. So,
well, I'm looking at people here. I'm looking at Naman, and he's looking like he's some kind of yogi. So, if it's possible, he could express what's on his mind. That would really be great.
Thank you, Maharaj. I would say that renunciation, we only think of it as giving something up, but the best mode of renunciation would be to use whatever gifts, whatever opulences we have, whether it be strength, fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, use it in service of Krishna. Give what we have to Krishna, and then that way we can automatically disconnect ourselves from getting the result because we give everything back to Krishna. It doesn't mean that we don't use what we have. We use everything with as much intensity as possible, but we just use it for Krishna.
Mm-hmm. Rupa Goswami is somebody who really helps us to understand renunciation. And that is to whatever is there within arm's reach, use it in his service. You say very appropriately, renunciation in the minds of some people is to give up something. But in this case, we're not giving up anything. We're adding Krishna to our life, who is everything. So people have misconceptions, very much so. Thank you. That was great, what you had to say.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Why don't we ask Uday to talk about his idea about renunciation?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, like I don't have anything elaborate to say, but it's just that if Krishna is at the center, then everything happens automatically,
Mm-hmm.
right? If the thought pattern, the mind goes through if mind, all the thought goes through Krishna, then things become easier. Like we are able to take decisions which are for our bhakti or for our spiritual life. And even if we are associated into something which is not for our spiritual life, it's for material life still, because we are from mind and heart associated with Krishna, we don't get that much attached to it. So yeah, it's more about, having a proper sadhana and being attached to Krishna. So yes.
Yeah, so Uday, just to let everybody know who you are, and you've taken up the service of distributing books for Prabhupada, right?
Yes,
And
Maharaj.
that's a great form of renunciation, because you're going out and doing what they call the cold sale. You're meeting people who may not necessarily have it in mind to meet somebody. A lot of people are not that interested in books these days, period. What to speak of a spiritual book, but you're going out there and meeting folks and trying to interest them in that in which they have forgotten. And so that's the kind of renunciation. You're giving up your sense gratification to help people who are struggling and who are suffering, and everyone is suffering.
Yes.
Someone says they're not suffering, it's
They're
just
lying.
one that lie. That's all.
Yes. They're lying to themselves.
Great. That was beautiful what you had to say. So the other person, Ritam Goswami, which I thought was Mango Goswami before. Can you tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are on this principle of renunciation according to how it's presented here in the Gita?
So when we think about renunciation not in the right consciousness, then we always feel like it is about giving up, and that induces a kind of fear in us. But if we use all these elements for Krishna in service, then there is no fear, basically. There is fearlessness. And at the same time, even when we are materially giving something up, we feel more enriched rather than impoverished.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's a misconception. And we should, Krishna's there to straighten it out, to make it clear what true renunciation is. It's not really giving up something good. It's rather a rejection or renouncing of anarthas, the things that are negative in our lives. So if we're giving up something, it means to that which is not helpful, and you're tossing it out of your window. So that is, and becoming relieved. So renunciation means to become relieved, to become happy, truly from within. Good. Thank you. I like what you said. And we have Dharma there as well. It's hard to see him because he's sharing the computer with his wonderful wife. So we only see her name, but we know you're hiding behind the scenes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat. Maharaj, my realization is going for higher taste. Like, give away the lower taste, go to higher taste, which is very, crux of the matter. Higher taste is Krishna, right? So, in the of taking higher taste, you are giving up the things which are not required. In the process, we are going towards, achieving Krishna consciousness goal,
Mm-hmm.
Whether
I think
prasadam, if you spending your time, you're going to money, giving portion of the money, using a house for, preaching, association, so using your car for book distribution, like that, use the resources.
Mm-hmm.
Gradually, it puts you in a mode of goodness and you are serving Krishna. So that's renunciation, I think.
Right. So, yeah, it really means moving ahead, thinking ahead, not going backwards.
Yeah.
Thank you. I like what you said as well. We can maybe hear from Vaishnavi, our host. What do you have to say about renunciation?
I was thinking the same thing what Naman was saying, Yukta Vairagyam. Like Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagyam Uchate. So yeah, anything that is related to Krishna, we do it, or we do it for Krishna.
Mm.
And that would be renunciation in itself.
Well, that's great. Yeah, thank you. Manasi Ganga, do you want to also say something a little bit more about your understanding of renunciation?
My realization is we go to temple every Sunday. Mostly 99% we don't want to miss it. So whatever material works will be there, but we don't take care of that. And we want to do seva in the temple and want to associate and want to have darshan of Lord Radha Krishna. So that way I feel we renounce our material thing and get connect with Krishna, Guru and devotees.
Mm. Looks like you've got a good method there. All the steps down. Most of us have heard many of these things, such as be in good company, study, work on your sadhana, take only prasadam, honor the fasts, and so on. Also, be charitable, distribute to the books, contribute to your temple, etc. These things good. By constantly working at these things, we should actually be in a strong position to work towards renunciation. It's going to work on you. Somebody said about the higher taste. It is the higher taste for sure.
Yes.
When you see some people's lives are being changed as a result of your promoting this topmost form of lifestyle, you get satisfied with him. It's pleasure that does come from within after all. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Is there somebody that didn't have a chance to say something? Oh, we have Rasaraj. He's really a great devotee. He's one of the best. Rasaraj?
Rasaraj Prabhu, you are muted, so we cannot hear you.
Oh,
You
Hare
cannot
Krishna
hear.
Maharaj. Sorry, yes, thank you, Mataji. So, as Naman was saying, Yukta Vairagyam is the as suggested by the Acharyas is the right way. and we have to follow that. So this slowly, Falgu, not using anything for Krishna and leaving the things for the sake of renunciation is Falgu Vairagyam. So Yukta Vairagyam is the right way. So and slowly we develop higher taste by association and prasadam and reading books. So and we automatically leave the lower taste. So that is my relation to Maharaj.
Thank you very much. And you also demonstrate it very well by distributing books and making people happy and making a change in people's lives. So some of you refer to Yukta Vairagya, and you understand that. That's good. I also like what you had to say about slowly. It is a gradual process. We shouldn't get too anxious when we feel I'm not making steady, strong strides in my spiritual progress. Oh, just be a little patient with yourself. Time is on your side. That's what I
Yes,
like. And time is Krishna.
yes.
Okay. Well, I have another realization. I just had 2 sandwiches, and this is the slowest I've ever eaten sandwiches my whole life. Do we have any other people that didn't get a chance? So, Domini, we didn't hear from you.
What happened? Vasanta is here.
Well, let's ask Vasanta. We went over 2 slokas, 2 verses with nice purports. They weren't lengthy, but they're pretty impactful. Can you tell us something about what's on your mind?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Vasanta. I go through this kind of practice, because when it's easy to give up when you're unhappy, say that, hey, I don't want to be in this world anymore, but very difficult to give up when you're happy. So, and I feel that the problem is, identifying with this particular body. So I try to constantly imagine myself in some other body, a rag picker's body, a disabled body, I may be in the next birth or birth after, which then, basically tells me everything is, this body is ephemeral and there's only one real light, Bhagwan, only Shashvat. This is only to make me try and give up, because it's not that easy to give up. No matter how many times we are told, we know, I find it very difficult, because it's not just giving up things, it's also giving up pleasure in something, taking pleasure in something. That's not that easy. So that, internalizing is very difficult, the whole thing. This is something I have always struggled with, despite knowing,
I think you're very right. Trying to internalize, do that inventory, going inward, it's not an easy task. But yet we know we have to do it. And I think that if you see some steady, and even if it's slow progress, then that should be elating. That should give some kind of level of satisfaction.
Yes, I try like 1 minute if my mind, when I pray, even if 1 minute it doesn't move, for me, that's a big, achievement. So I've kept, no matter how much you pray or I meditate or whatever, my mind doesn't really, it jumps, even if I have to constantly watch. And I find it very difficult. So I've kept my goal as 1 minute where I think of nothing except Bhagavan and light. no matter how much I pray. So
That is so well put. I just like what you said. And I think everybody can relate to it. I think we're all members of the same club. That,
I think I am far behind everybody because
well, that's a nice sentiment too. That's very humble of you. And that's a symptom that there's something going on. Something is percolating.
well, I feel that I'm just starting on the path, so I've given myself some thousands of births before I reach that goal. So I'm taking it,
The
slowly.
fact that you stick to sadhana is an indication that you have some love for it all. That something is working for you. I think most of us feel safe
And peace.
And at peace.
Yeah.
Like we're better off just taking to this particular process, and we believe that from experience. Otherwise, we wouldn't keep at it. That's all. So, all glories to those who stick with it, with the bhakti process. That we are getting some ruchi, we are getting some taste, and that's what prods us on to continue to do what we're doing. Thank you so much, Vasanta. Did anybody else have a chance to say something, or they didn't have a chance, rather, and now's the time. Okay, then I guess what we can do is, now it's July the 4th. It's most of you are celebrating, I guess, to some degree. What can you say about your country? Has it been helpful in your Krishna consciousness? That's my question to you. Anyways, happy birthday.
Chaitanya Maharaj said that born in India and then devotee is very rare.
Be a devotee is very rare.
You don't have the Krishna consciousness at the base of your most valuable life.
Yeah. Well, where I was getting at is that if you live in a country where you can freely exercise your spirituality, that's a real plus. The negative side is that most of us are living in countries, whether it's the UK or like in the Netherlands, actually, and which is a nice country. They've got everything that you could ever want. Any flower that grows on the surface of the earth you can get, or whether you're in the US or Canada. That is part of the problem. You can get what you want. And it's like you're living in Costco. You can get anything there, and you can get it in abundance. And that's sometimes the very thing that keeps us away from making spiritual advancement. We have a lot of distractions. That's one of the biggest problems that we face. There's a lot of promiscuity as well. And so while we have freedom, everything else has freedom too. We have freedom to exercise Krishna consciousness, but it also brings in a lot of distractions. So that's my conclusion on that. Anything else? We can do some takeaways. We only have about a minute and a half, but I think you all did do some taking away by giving your little bit of, take on what is renunciation. Maybe we could have some quick takeaways, okay? About 2 words.
Okay.
2-word takeaway, all right?
Mansi Ganga and Dharma Prabhu.
Liberation is fixation on Krishna.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Renounce samosas.
Renounce samosas. Okay. All right. 2 words. That's great. What else?
Rasaraj Prabhu.
Yukta Vairagya.
Very good.
Dhanraj Prabhu.
Krishna consciousness.
Krishna consciousness. Okay, great.
Arjuna.
Bhakti and renunciation.
Bhakti.
And renunciation.
Okay, very good.
Ritam.
Okay.
Ritam.
Add Krishna.
Jai Hare Krishna.
Naman.
Serve eternally.
Serve eternally. Nice.
Sandamani.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, devotional service.
Devotional service. Nice.
Your
Hebrews are better with 2 words than 4 words.
your husband is next to you,
Yeah.
Sandamani.
Die before dying.
Okay. That was 3 words, but we'll let it pass.
Vasanta.
Krishna
24 hours, think of Krishna.
Krishna all day.
Yes, 24 hours. Nothing except Krishna.
Rasaraj?
As I mentioned, Maharaj, Yukta Vairagya.
Okay. Bravo.
Vasanta.
Krishna Bhakti.
Krishna Bhakti.
That's our
That's
Maharaj.
Anybody left?
No, Maharaj. I already said that, so yeah.
Okay. We have Shuri here. 2 words.
Krishna, all the time, please the Krishna, 24.
Okay, that's about 6, 7 words. Okay. What about you? We have Nityananda here. He's the one that made the rye sandwiches.
Eat prasadam.
Eat prasadam, okay. Prabhu, thank you very much for getting on board. Next week should be working out for us. And I'm just thinking about my travels. We are doing some practices for our drama for the Rath Yatra coming up. But I think it should probably work out. Okay.
Maharaj,
Yeah.
may I ask, what is the drama that you're doing on Rath Yatra?
The drama that we're doing is something that we put on January 1st, and it's called The Witness Gopal. Shakti Gopal. It runs for about 42 minutes, something like that. Yep. Thank you, Prabhu.
Look forward
See you
to the
next week
video.
then. Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai.
Hey.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So,
Bhaktimarga Swami ki jai.
Haribol. So we will all do the Be Nice program next week.